Hey folks, today's video is about the gold mines at Beenleigh, of which there were plenty. Thanks to one of my subscribers who asked me several months ago to look into the gold mines at Beenleigh, and yeah, there's quite a few. So we're here today, wandering around the forest, looking for some of the old diggings, and I've tracked down about 10 mines in this area, but I think we're going to find evidence of maybe 5. We're going to look at that. So this might be a slightly longer video, but I think we'll have some fun along the way, as we usually do. So hang in there, grab a brew, look to the front, and buckle up, because today we're doing the Beenleigh gold mines. And as usual, you know what I'm going to say. If you dig the vibe, like and subscribe, and let's rock. Well folks, there we go. Round the old Story Bridge, we're heading out now. Got to get going because we got to get down to Beenleigh. Goes Mount Gravatt. And we're heading down to have a look at the gold mines at Beenleigh. And this area's got some mineralisation that showed great prospect. There's Beenleigh, the old 5 ways, 4 ways. 5 ways? Yeah, it's a 5 ways, 6 ways. It's a beauty. Anyway, we're going over here first because the first gold mine we want to have a look at is just up on the ridge here. So it's in this area here generally. We're going to have a walk around. I think it's further back here. And that's where we'll walk in today and have a good look and see what's around. Then we're going to head down a little further to the south to Ormeau, because there was a mine at Ormeau. Just on the other side of this massive quarry, man. You cannot believe how big these quarries are. Just tucked down there, we're going to go up there and have a bit of a look. It's very steep country up there, really steep country. That's a lovely road called the Plateau, which I'm sure the locals don't want you driving around. There was another mine just down here in that valley as well. And if we just pop up now, not very far away, there's another mine just over here. No guesses here. Gold Mine Road, the Gold Mine Rail Reserve. Bit of a giveaway. But we'll have a look around there, and we'll have a look and see what's left. And the last one we're going to have a look at in the flyover is way over here, up on top of Mount Wheelbarrow here. And we are definitely not going to go and have a look at this one today, because for no reason other than it's a really long way and I don't think there's much to see. And it was right on top of that mountain. A guy sunk a shaft and found some gold. Obviously not enough. So there we go. And we're actually not that far from Brisbane. If we look at these mines here. Now there were also a few alluvial claims here. And just up in this valley here, right down on that point in the river there, in the Pimpamar River, there was an alluvial claim down there as well. So these guys were washing gravels that section and getting gold. Well folks, because today's video is all about the shiny stuff, you know, the letters A and U, I thought I'd spend a little bit of time talking about what gold was like in the 1870s and early 1900s. First of all, you had to sell your gold to the government. There was no other legal place to sell it, and the government set the price. Now the price of gold in 1870 was £4.24 an ounce. That's it. That's what you sold it for. That's about 600 quid in today's dollars with inflation, or about 1,200 Australian dollars. It's not a very good equivalent. Now, gold today, I'm making this in late 2024. Gold is nearly 4,000 Australian dollars an ounce. Put a pin in that. In 1870, wages was something like this. A warehouse packing worker, 30 shillings a week, which is £1.10. Farm labourers, 17 shillings a week. Sawyers, the timber cutters, 60 shillings a week, which is 3 quid. That's good money, but it's hard work. Ploughman, 20 shillings a week. 20 shillings is £1 a week. So, if you're looking at that, that's about, you could buy an ounce of gold with about 4 times the average weekly wage. Now, the average weekly wage in Australia now, published, is $915 a week. And don't yell at me, I know a lot of people are not earning that, but that's what happens. So in 1870, an ounce of gold was about 4 times an average wage. And in 2024, an ounce of gold is about 4 times the average wage. Now, gold went nuts in the early 1970s when they released the ability to own gold and they freed up the market. The United States did, and of course everyone else did. And I can remember when it hit $1,000 an ounce, people go, $1,000 an ounce is a world record. No, just gone up, and it's gone backwards occasionally. But in times of trouble, people run to gold. That's happening today, and it's happening today, $4,000 an ounce Australian. Anyway, so let's have a look at the gold, the type of gold that they were getting down in this Beenleigh and Logan area, because it was very specific. Well, folks, here we have a surface geology map of the Beenleigh and Ormeau area. And I know it looks a bit like a Jackson Pollock painting, but we'll make some sense of this. So on the far left, you have 2 green formations there, one a darker green than the other. The lighter green is the Ipswich coal measures. The darker green is called the Woogaroo Formation. They're both Triassic and Jurassic. The Woogaroo is a little younger and it sits on top of the Ipswich coal measures. The purple in the middle is the Narrenleigh Fernvale group. We know about this from a long time in this channel. And on the right we have the light greens. Those light greens and those yellows are all gravels that have eroded from these other groups, except for the little dark green spots. They're actually pieces of the Woogaroo coal group that haven't eroded out yet. So you'll see in the middle there, we know the Narrenleigh Fernvale group is Devonian. It's a very old group, 500 million years old nearly. Well, in the middle you see all of those strange colours of purple. They are different levels of metamorphosis. That stuff has been heated by a granitic intrusion underneath it that didn't make it to the surface. It's a long way down, but it cooked those rocks big time. The big quarries are down there because they want that metamorphic rock because it's nice and hard, but also it brings up all of the geothermal fluids that gives us our gold and our arsenic and our arsenopyrites. We're going to talk about that. All the different things down there, the mineralisation is caused by that metamorphosis. Now further south you have the Tambourine groups. They made it to the surface. This one didn't, and it never got to punch its way through the Narrenleigh Fernvale group. And all of this mineralisation we're talking about today is in that group. So anyway, let's have a look at exactly where these guys are and the type of gold they were getting and why they were getting this particular type of ore out of these mines. So in some places, geothermal gold is found in iron pyrites. Some places it's found in copper pyrites. Down here it's found in arsenopyrites. This is the sulfate, arsenic sulfate. Now, this stuff is a metalloid. It's very toxic. It's also carcinogenic. And if you've ever been down to Sundown National Park, there's these signs up everywhere telling you don't drink the water. That's going to kill you, but it's going to make you sick, ruin your holiday. And when the miners are finished with it, they take the gold out. They don't want the pyrites. It goes into the tailings heaps. And once it's been exposed to oxygen, it turns into arsenic trioxide. And this is soluble in water. And it's not good for groundwater at all. It's not good for you. And all the mines in the Beenleigh area were arsenopyrites, all of them. Well, folks, modern satellite view of Beenleigh. Our first targets are just here. There's one there and there's one there. We'll walk into that and have a look in a minute. Now, this is the Fisher's Mine and the Beenleigh Gold Prospecting Company. They were both located on the same block, Block 121, which is this around the turn of the century. And they weren't there at exactly the same time. And you could see some debris here in the LiDAR, but I'm not confident that is old enough. But anyway, let's walk in and have a look. Folks, we're just on the track here at Beenleigh, up on the hill, looking for these gold mines. One thing that's come to me is all that rock out there's black. They've just been burnt by bushfires. But the rock here in the track, that's been smashed up by four-wheel drives over the years. This is all sandstone. Quite nice looking sandstone, but it's all sandstone. Well, there you go. The geology maps you're about to see, ain't no sandstone on it, but the Narrandley Fern Gold Group can contain sandstones in places, and here it obviously does, because it doesn't matter what the map says. This is what we're standing on. This is reality. No quartz here yet though. Anyway, we'll see. Well folks, we're standing on a big pile. Everything you see there is smashed up host rock. And we get to the edge here where they've obviously just been pushing it off a rock face. You can see all the broken rock. This is clearly, the top stuff in particular is artificial. I suspect they've just pushed it off a face. They've been looking for a quartz vein. And frankly, so am I. Because everything I see here is either sandstone or quartzite. Can't really tell. It looks like metamorphic schist and quartzite, so could be a bit of both. And between those you can get quartz veins, so maybe that's what we're seeing here. Anyway, we'll go around the front face and we'll see if we can see any evidence of what they were digging for. But the geologist who visited this mine wasn't too keen on their prospects. He thought they were wasting their time. Just looking at the rock, well, maybe I do too, but I never want to belittle the old timers' knowledge and intuition. They knew what they were doing. But then again, most gold mines fail, so yeah, maybe not. Anyway, onward. I've been hauling over the side of this hill here for quite some time. And you keep coming across quite a lot of these little pits. And there's half a dozen of them just in this area here. Another one here. Oh, these are not natural. They look natural now because they're full of garbage, but they were, I suspect, prospecting pits. You find these all over Brisbane. You find them in Toowong, you find them in Inogra, you find them everywhere where the diggers have gone down, had a bit of a dig and gone, nah, that's garbage, and moved on. Anyway, there's plenty of them here. Well folks, behind me is the first mature tree I've found on this hill. 80, maybe 100 years old. And something else about those diggers' pits. If they run through here with a couple of bulldozers and a chain between it, and they start ripping trees out of the ground, the size of this one behind me, it does leave a fairly similar pit. And something on this hill that is a little obvious is there are no tree stumps. So if they cut down the old ironbark trees to use for whatever, I doubt if they're going to come back and rip the stumps out. That's a lot of work, or blow them out with dynamite. And there are no stumps here, none. So maybe they did pull this hill. Maybe the bushfires have taken them out over the years, but the stumps are hard to burn. Anyway, no answers, just questions. Let's go and have another look at some other gold stuff. Well folks, here I am at the bottom of that spoil heap we were talking about before. It's a significant spoil heap. I was standing up there on the top just a few minutes ago. Do I think this is a spoil heap from the mine? No. It might be, but I doubt it. First of all, the mine wasn't this big. That's a lot of dirt. And there is no quartz whatsoever in any of that stuff. It's all sandstone and shale and I think quartzite. I suspect this has been dumped here by the council, by a property developer. And not that long ago. These mines were here 100 years ago. That does not look 100 years old. It'd have very mature gum trees growing on it, and it doesn't. So anyway, we'll continue looking. Well folks, here's something you don't see every day. There's a lovely little creek running up to this track. Then there's a ford here, goes across. And then there's another creek here, running down the hill. However, they're both running downhill. This one runs downhill, and this one runs downhill. Not too sure that's natural, but anyway, this is the bit I'll be walking on right here. Well folks, we're just about to leave this site and head off to another site. Now, this is a very big mound of spoil here. It's interesting, there are 2 mounds of spoil on this hill and there were 2 shafts on this hill. I suspect that these spoil heaps are sitting on top of the old shafts, but these are not the original spoil heaps. All this has got growing through it is lantana. These gum trees that you see in front of us should be growing through this spoil heap as well, if it was contemporaneous with the gold mines, and it isn't, obviously. So yeah, anyway, that's all we can see here. I walked the whole side of this hill. I can't see any other targets. So I would say we're in the right place, just at the wrong time. So anyway, let's head off and see if we can find some more gold mines. Well folks, here we're up in Ormeau Hills. I call it Ormeau Mountain because it's a bloody mountain. This was Mr. Beaton's prospects. He had 2. He had a gold prospect here and he had another one there called Beaton's West. Now the western one I can see, that's on some metamorphics, but the eastern one, yeah, don't know. The quartz reefs on both of them according to the geologist report. They dug shafts but never really mounted to anything. Well folks, here we are up at the plateau in Upper Ormeau. Beautiful place. And I cannot convey to you how steep this country is. This country is so steep. And down at the bottom of that gully there is the gold mine, Beaton's gold mine. So anyway, I'm not going down there. I'd never get back. It's just too steep. But this is the country these people were mining in. Seriously steep country. Beautiful country, by the way. Seriously steep. Well guys, here we are up on top of Mount Ormeau and it's looking pretty good. This is very steep country though, and I don't think we're going to be doing any walking down here. Anyway, so what we'll do, I think what we'll do is we'll go and have a look at another mine because, you know, because we can, of course. Anyway, let's boogie. Well folks, here we are at Ormeau in 1947. There's a cleared paddock there, which is where our gold mine used to be. Today time, it's called the Gold Mine Rail Reserve and it's on Gold Mine Road. This is a bit of a no-brainer, this one. But it was more complex than you think. The mines were in this area, sort of. Here's a cadastral from back in the 1920s. And all of this took place in block 239, which is this one here. Now, what I've done is, I'll just show you this, by the way. That is the old South Coast Railway line, the scar of it running through this area. Anyway, these pits are pretty weird. Not quite sure, I know what they are, but I'm not sure why they're there. Because you don't see them in other places. These are the mining leases on this site. So there has been a lot of mining leases issued on this site. If you look at the numbers, they're all fairly similar. But there were at least 2 or 3 shafts cut into this site and samples were sent to Gympie for crushing. Now this place was called the Mount Whitty Gold Mine, or Whitty's Mountain. It was also called the Ormeau Mine at one stage. Well folks, here we are down on Gold Mine Road. I think the name should be a giveaway, and it is. Now these houses behind me here are the site of the Mount Whitty Gold Mine. And we'll discuss it in more details elsewhere in this video, but did they find any gold? Yes they did. Did they find any arsenic? Yes they did. Did they dig it up? Yep, they dug shafts, they sent it away for assay, and frankly, there was gold here, and there probably still is. Now there's houses. Probably worth a lot more than gold otherwise. Anyway, let's go down here and have a bit of a look, see if there's anything left of the Mount Whitty Gold Mine. I'm not confident. Let's give it a go. So as you can see folks, this is the landscape now of the gold mine reserve at the site of the old Mount Whitty Gold Mine. It slopes down into the creek. Some fairly old trees in there, like I'm talking large gum trees, over 100 years old. So yeah, original landscape I think, but we're standing up on an embankment here and I suspect this is artificial. But anyway, see all that lantana? Well, what you probably can't see is there's asparagus vine in there as well. So T-rocks don't go in there. Too much barbed wire. Well, folks, Beenleigh in the 1800s shows a lot of promise. That's all I can say. Railway line in the foreground, which is interesting. So, was there gold mine down here? Yes, of course there was. From the late 1800s through to the early 1900s, 1920s or 30s. These people had a go. They had a chop. They went out there. They dug holes. 100-foot hole. And these weren't mines like this. This is Gympie. This is a brand new mine. Looks awesome. They probably weren't even mines like this. I would say they were probably, you're digging a 100-foot hole in this rock. It's more like this. Living in tents, stacking up rocks, what they call gobbing, making things. This, by the way, was a cutting down near Kirra, between Kirra and Coolangatta. Dug by hand. That rock doesn't fall out of the ground. These old fellas wandering around looking for gold, they found a pan of gold that big. They were looking for this stuff. This is what they needed. And they had a dream. Good on them. They had a go. Unfortunately, what they were finding was this stuff, arsenopyrites, which is A, poisonous, and B, worthless. And they probably didn't even get any of this in their Christmas stocking. My kids would sulk if we didn't give them gold coins for Christmas. Well, folks, there we go. Over my shoulder, Gold Mine Road. I wonder where the gold mine is. Anyway, there was one here, for sure. Well documented. We know where it was. We know how long it was here for. We know why it went away. It wasn't because there was no gold. It's because it was mixed in with too much rock, as is the usual problem. So today we've looked at Beenleigh's gold mining history as best I can do it and actually confirm the locations of the mines. Was there gold found here? Yes, there was. Did anyone get rich out of it? Probably whoever sold the gold miners their food and all their equipment. Not too sure the gold miners got rich out of it, but anyway, as is also the way mostly. Thank you to whoever, and I can't remember who you were, who asked me this in the comments about the history of Beenleigh's gold mine. And Gold Mine Road in particular. And yes, it was named because there was a gold mine, not at the end of the road, at the beginning of the road. That's the difference. So anyway, that's Beenleigh's gold mines. Onwards and upwards, got some great new videos coming. Oh, I got some great ideas coming up soon. Got some more quizzes coming, should be fun. Anyway, as usual, if you like the vibe, like and subscribe. How about if you dig the vibe, like and subscribe? I'll leave that in. You guys know I'm human. And you know what I'm going to say. Keep rocking, because T-Rocks is out.
If you can't trust the governments of the world, then who can you trust?